Why are you selling alcohol to everyone when you know very well that you're dumbing down the nation? I can talk about when South African women started being targeted to be consumers and sellers of alcohol. We never used to be selling alcohol and influencers for alcohol and buying expensive alcohol.
Fully targeted right now.
We were fully targeted for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Now now we're the highest leading drinkers as females. And we come from a history where our grandmothers doit so that they must remove beer halls next to the station because our grandfathers would get off the station, buy alcohol instead of taking the money at home. So they already had dealt with a black man.
Sure.
So the next target was who was fighting to keep the family together? It was us. So now we're the ones who got it, and it started happening here in Sandton. I remember talking to Edna. Penny, we're now arresting women coming from fancy restaurants here in Sandton, but bahamba ngama Range Rover. And I started watching the trajectory happen. We went into 2010s. So we start from drinking just cider here, drinking. Now we are ordering champagne, whiskey,
hard liquor.
And now before you know it, now we are the influencers of it. So it's done. So now our little girls want mocktails.
0%.
No, we're throwing mocktail parties for our children. We're already introducing the concept of the glamour of there. And now it's being done by us, the mothers, as black people. So I can't unconscientize myself. I've always been conscious as Penny. I'm aware of those things. But when now a demographic is targeted, it's a system, guys. And you are part of promoting it to the general population of the poverty-stricken people of South Africa because you have influence.
Drops mic.
The amount of alcohol that South Africans consume is unbelievable, guys. I mean, just listen to these stats. So usually South Africans spend around 400 million rand a day on alcoholic beverages, and that in itself is already a huge amount of money. But apparently between Christmas and New Year's, that number triples, and South Africans spend over 1 billion rand a day on alcohol throughout that period. 1 billion rand a day. Guys, that is insane. South Africans really go all out over the festive season. But if you think all of that is crazy, just wait until you find out that about 20% of alcohol in South Africa is actually fake.
People don't know the limit when it comes to alcohol. People don't know, okay, I'm drunk. They don't want to be drunk, right? They want to drink until they can't walk, which I don't understand. What is the satisfaction of me being so drunk that I'm sleeping on the floor and people are laughing at me or whatever, I get Slampe wanting to just get out, just relax, just a little bit. I get that. But the one thing I can't ever get an answer on is why do people who drink alcohol want to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Or if I'm drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I must drink until I can't remember my name, Then it doesn't speak to alcohol. It speaks of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
It speaks of people running away from whatever issues that they have. It speaks of people finding an escape. It speaks of people who don't want to face reality. And that's why we've heard, I was watching a clip of General Mkhwanazi saying that the biggest problems that they have in our community, 80% of them are probably caused by alcohol.
Alcohol and drunkenness, poison that has quietly been normalized, a liquid that is really questioned. It gives false courage and comfort. It arrives promising the best night of your life and leaves with regret, shame, and broken decisions. And please understand, this is not judgment. This is about truth. Because at some point, truth must be faced. The deep thing about alcohol is that it really stays just a drink. Over time, it becomes identity. It's not just something someone consumes. It becomes who they are, the life of the party, the one with the high tolerance. So when drunkenness is confronted, it feels personal. Because you're not just challenging a habit, you're touching who someone believes they are. And most people don't see alcohol as the problem because it presents itself as a solution. Have a broken heart? Drink. Stressed? Drink. Lonely? Drink. It's basically marketed as a relief, but realistically and biologically, alcohol is a depressant. When intoxicated, the part of your brain that is responsible for reasoning and self-control becomes less active. So decisions you would never make sober suddenly feel acceptable. That's why violence rises around alcohol. That's why one decision can change a life forever. The youth who are supposed to be the future harm each other weekend after weekend under the influence. But we say let people be. We only live once. We're going to die anyway. I mean, yes, life is short and our bodies are going to die. But that does not justify reckless living. It doesn't mean you should lose your purpose before even discovering it. Think about how much potential has been buried because of this. Athletes who could have changed communities. Entrepreneurs who could have built generational wealth and changed the situation at home. Parents who could have kept their families together. And yet, we defend it. I mean, billions are spent on alcohol in an economy that is supposed to be struggling. The people who say opportunities are scarce fund the very thing that clouds their clarity. And I'm not denying that opportunities are limited. But clarity always creates more opportunity than chaos does. And clarity requires sobriety. Scripture warns against drunkenness because it leads to debauchery. I mean, alcohol itself may not be labeled as a sin. But we have to be honest about the let's just have one statement. We know how one becomes several, and several becomes someone else driving home. See, when drunkenness takes over, something shifts. It's almost like another influence steps in. An influence that takes over your spirit and your being. Again, this is not about shame. It's about truth. It's about honesty, and it's about asking the right questions. Questions such as, is it really helping? Or is it quietly taking more than it gives? Bro, you're not created to escape life. You're created to live it with clarity, strength, and purpose. The world says take a shot, but God says be filled with my spirit. One clouds you and one strengthens you. So choose wisely. And that is day 182 of Waking Up to Nature Singing Weekday. This is the day that the Lord has made, and so today, let us rejoice and be glad in it.
If you are having a drink or two every single day, you're an alcoholic. Alcohol is the one thing that is so addictive, but we don't see it as addictive. We don't see it as a problem. It's unlike drugs where we know, okay, like if you are smoking every single day, like you're addicted. Like smoking every single day, no matter what you're smoking, you are addicted. But we don't apply that when it comes to alcohol. The fact is, if you are drinking every single day, I don't care how healthy you claim to be, you are an alcoholic. Call AA. Call them. That's my controversial take for this morning. Bye.
I stopped drinking alcohol for 75 days, and here are 5 things that I learned during that time. Number 1, alcohol is the answer. It's not the problem, I promise. Number 2, you are going to save money, a lot of it. You are going to realize you have a you problem and not a money problem. Number 3, when you are sober in between drunk people, you hear and see everything. And I mean everything. So my question to people who don't drink alcohol at all, how do you guys do it? Like, how do you guys hang around drunk people and don't mind it at all? Number 4, the music at Groove is too loud, guys. Like, especially clubs and taverns. Like, we're already here overpacked in this one room. The speaker is here already. Like, I can see this. I'm dancing with the speaker, basically. So why does the volume need to be that loud? And number 5, this one is very important. Once you leave alcohol, you start experiencing life on hard mode. Well, it's not hard mode. It's what life feels like for people that don't use drugs to cope with their stresses. Because that's essentially what I was doing with alcohol, or people who drink alcohol. You have a rough week and you say, ish, I need a drink. It's not just a drink. You are suppressing your feelings. You're avoiding to deal with whatever is stressing you, your fears, your anxiety. So once you remove alcohol, you have to face that feeling 100%. You think you know stress. No. You've been ducking and diving stress using alcohol. When once you remove alcohol and you face stress man to man, you will see sober people are actually very strong. Yeah? You'll feel that way until you get a healthier coping mechanism, because that's what essentially you were doing. You were using alcohol as a coping mechanism. So now you have to start running marathons like other sober people. That's what I learned from being sober, and I'm not doing it again. It was just an experiment. Like I said, alcohol is the answer.
Guys, South Africa, we've got a drinking problem.
Yeah, we have trauma. We have too much trauma.
We drink a lot.
Too much.
And a lot of people, there's some of us who consume alcohol, but I personally don't have a toxic relationship with alcohol.
Hi,
Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. Do you know what it takes? How much discipline it takes?
The suspect is in denial.
Do you know how much discipline it takes, right? To wake up every day, Monday to Friday, for 3 years. Wake up at 3 o'clock, 3:30. go to work, 6 o'clock, you're on the radio. You can't do that when you've got a drinking problem and you're doing it sober. You're on the radio sober. You can't do that when you have this. So don't see me drinking here and think I'm an alcoholic or I drink every day of my life. And you know what I mean? This is the time I get to drink on weekends. Anyway, as I was saying.
If you're not careful in South Africa, you'll turn 35 years old with nothing to show but very beautiful pictures of strangers you met at Groove memories, alcohol, and that is all. That is all. Imagine this scenario. You're walking with your son and you see one of your former schoolmates driving a 911, a Porsche 911. And then you brag to your son about the fact that you guys went to the same high school with this guy. And then your son will ask you one question: what happened to you?
We've seen professionals who've been at the highest heights in whatever discipline in their careers, whether it be in the legal space, in the business space. We've seen some even in the political space that alcohol has destroyed their careers. And if you need to take hard steps, you need to take hard steps, because alcoholism, amongst other issues, and I'm sure we'll touch upon them later, is robbing our country of the brightest talents, the brightest minds.